Good afternoon, it's Michael here from Michael's Card Art, and this afternoon I've got a very quick and easy video for you to show you. It's a technique, and it's a technique that's based around how I colour my leaves, if you like. And I'll give you some context here. So this was a card that I developed the other day, or that I made the other day, and it's from the Stampin' Up! Climbing Orchid set. And you'll see here that the leaves that they gave us, the stamp for that, I didn't really like it so much. And so what I did was I created my own leaves, and hence you've got this look. And you'll see here that there's some good, the ribbing of the leaf is there. You can see there's some tones, and also the color of the leaf is bordering on a greeny yellow, in line with what a climbing orchid leaf does look like. So with all due respect to Stampin' Up!, I did take some liberty to go and create my own leaves. And so what I want to show you today, after a number of requests for information, I want to show you how I did that. It's a very simple process, and as I said, it's a very short video. So let's get started and I'll show you that. Now, I'm going to admit these leaves I've cut out myself, just using a basic leaf shape. Now, there's some great Stampin' Up! Leaf dies out there. There's also independent providers of leaf dies. But for this example, I've cut the leaf out, and I've used a bit of a template, which is nothing more than a sheet of paper, and gone from there. But let's bring in some uncolored leaves. Oh, excuse me. I was out in the breeze this afternoon in Melbourne, and there's a bit of wind and pollen floating around out there. So what I've got here are the spritzers. These are the Stampin' Up! Spritzers, and all I've done here is filled the barrel with water. They operate very simply like this, and this screws off like such. And what I tend to do is I fill the barrel up to 1/2 to 3/4, and I always put in around 5 drops of refill. It's really just a very simple process. And for the leaves, I always have on standby 4 basic colors. I always have a red. It's usually the red is probably a Cajun Craze. The brown I use is the soft suede. The green that I tend to go for mostly is probably, I'm going to say, the old olive. And a yellow that I use is a crushed curry. So I always have my spritzers with those. I've got 6 spritzers. The other one is with a blue, and I've got a spare empty cartridge at the moment. But these are the 4 colors that I always have in my spritzer, especially when I'm going to do leaves. And as you can see here, I've already started the coloring process unbeknownst to myself. But this is how difficult it is, or how simple it is, really. All I do, clear the decks and make sure you've got plenty of clear space around here. I give each of the leaves, and I'm just going to, I spritz like so. And then I will go over, depending on what sort of a color I'm going for, I will add some other tones to it. And in this case, I'm going to just give a simple sprit of brown. Okay. Right, now I do tend to let those dry naturally, but for the purpose of this exercise, I will hasten the process with my hot gun, and you'll see how it evolves from there. I'm just going to grab the hot gun. I will pause this until I dry it. Okay, so I've dried these off with the hot gun. And what I might do is I might just get rid of that sheet of paper. What I'll do is I'll turn that over. So I've dried those off with the hot gun. I tend to leave them dry naturally, and it takes around about 2 hours when it's done naturally. But the integrity of the paper hasn't been hampered in any way. It's still a strong, firm piece of paper, even with that water having been applied to it, although it wasn't a lot, admittedly. Now, the next step in the process is I like to put the veins in. Now I'm going to show you, I've just got a couple of leaves here for you. So, oops, sorry. These veins I use, you can see the veins in here, they go long ways, as in down the plant. They rib all the way down from top to bottom. You find these generally in, I suppose, tropical plants, climbing orchids in a sense, have these sort of ribs. These leaves I've just dragged out of the drawer for you, tend to be more of a fruit leaf, where the ribs are not quite so angular that you might see on a rose. And let's use these ones for as if it was a rose or a camellia or something like that. Now what I do is I start at the top, and I always have a sharp instrument. This is a letter opener from days gone by, and you could use a boning knife. Sorry, I hark back to my catering days. A boning tool. I can't remember what this is called now. Anyway, so what we do, we start at the top and we're aiming for the bottom here. Hold the leaf firm. You must put it on a piece of foam. Otherwise, it just is a bit too dodgy if you just try and do it straight onto the desk. You won't get the same effect. Now, here I said the integrity hasn't been impacted, but obviously there's a little bit of moisture still there. Let's take it from the bottom or the top and right the way down. Okay. And it's as simple as that. And when you do it, I'm just going to show you this again. When you do that cut all the way through, watch the leaf. You might see, yes, there it is. See a natural curling as you take that sharp instrument through there. I think it's a good effect. And once again, I'll just take this one through, and there you go. You see the leaf crinkling up to accommodate that. Excellent. That's a good sign that the paper's able to take the treatment that you're going to give it. Now, there's that. And what I'll do, if it's a rose, will make equal diagonal indentations diagonally away from the on an angle away from the central vein, and then I'll do it on the same sort of axis, if you like, on the opposite side of the leaf. And there you go, you've got the leaf. Now my leaves as well, they get quite a bit of treatment. So this one here, I'm going to have it going out like that, and these ones, I'll just put the veins in here. Just a very simple process. There we go. Right. And that leaf will probably stay like that. This one is coming up like that. And I'm going to show you how I colour those accordingly. And I'll just get rid of that piece of paper for a minute. And once again, let's just get a couple of veins in here. There we go. Okay, there we go. I'll turn this one inside as well. And so you've got your veins there. You can see them just gently. Right, let's start the colouring process. I'll bring back my sheet of paper so that you can see the contrasts of colour. Now, remember I said I always have, for leaves, I've got three basic colours. I've got the green, the yellow and the brown, and you can see those colours play out there in that there. You can also see it in these ones. The green, the yellow and the brown are in here, and also in these. Now if I was doing autumn leaves, and I'll just see if I've got an autumn leaf here for you. Just hold on a moment and I'll show you how that plays out. Just getting some cards ready for a display that I've got. Actually, the same effect, just bear with me a moment, the same effect I've oh, here we go. Well, these aren't. Here's a good example of autumnal colours. So what I'll do here is, this is another card that I made with Autumn Scene. So once again, the leaves are still the same. These are die set leaves, or cut from a die. And what I've used is green, yellow, and brown in here. But when I've let them dry, I've made sure I sprayed them also with some red. It might have been Cajun Craze, but a slight tone of red to give you that sort of autumnal effect there. We're not going to use red today, but I will show you the colouring process. Sorry, I'll just put all that aside. Okay, to the task at hand. Okay, so I've got, and the colours that I'm going to use for the leaf colouring will be, I'm going to go with a Daffodil Delight. I will use green. The green I want is Evergreen, Evening Evergreen. And I said brown, we might go with a soft suede. Well, let's just see how we go there. All right, so I'll start off with the green because I want that to give me the contrast from the other colours. Now, I'm very comfortable colouring with a dauber. You can colour with a brush, but I'll show you my process that I use with a lot of things, and it's with a dauber as opposed to a blending brush or a watercolour brush, although I do use all of those as well. So I'm going to start by doing the burnishing the edges of the leaf. And here we go. Take those around to the edge. Now, this leaf is going to be concaved. This one will be convexed, so the ribs are sitting out. So it's still the same process, but with this one, when we get to the secondary colour, you will see me do something slightly differently with that. Now, I told you it was convexed. I'm going to burnish just very, very gently down the centre vein, just to give it a bit of a highlight. Now that will do a couple of things. It will highlight that central vein, but it will also start to show off the markings of the ribbing that you've got there. Okay, there's that one, and let's just do the third one, burnishing the edges. And you can see that I'm pretty fast and furious here. It's I seem to have lots of different projects on the go at once, and I find I work quickly just to keep everything moving along. Okay, so there's the burnishing. This one I will make it convexed. I'm just going to put the vein, there you go, in this, there we go. See how that's sitting there like that? Okay, let's approach with another colour. And that one's, okay, here's the yellow. Actually, I will just give these leaves a little bit more of a green tinge. Now, I'm going to use the small blending brush. I don't know where I got these from, but they're a find, let me tell you. And once again, I'm just going to bring some rich green colour. Notice I start off on the paper, just so I don't get these things on my leaf. There we go. And you can start to see now the veins coming forward that we put in with the sharp instrument. Bone folder, that's the word I was trying to find. Okay, so let's just keep this going. Now, keeping that colour just very, very light across the leaf itself. And I'll show you then what I do to bring out highlights and various things like that. All right. It doesn't look like any of these at the moment. However, watch this space. Okay, I'm just going to move the green over there and I'll bring in the yellow. Now, we don't want too much yellow, but we're just going to highlight. Now, what is already there. Now, what you're going to see me do now is hold my thumb over a part of the leaf, and it'll be held over that leaf for most of the time while I colour. Now, you can see here I'm just adding roughly some yellow. I'm keeping my thumb more or less here on this part of the leaf, in this area here, because this leaf is going to be bent like that, and I'm wanting the sunlight to come in from this angle. So therefore I want to keep colour away from that area, and that's how I do that. Now I'm going to bring in some brown and just give you an example of that before I tackle the other two leaves. Here we go. Now holding the leaf back there once again, and now bringing in our brown. Now the brown, I said, is a soft suede, also from Stampin' Up. And here we go. You can start to see the contrasts of the colours coming through. Now you might be thinking, that doesn't look like a green leaf to me. Well, I dare you to go into the garden and find a lot of totally green leaves on your plants. Now this one here, it was retaining a little bit of moisture, but you know what? I don't mind that because it adds to the naturalness of the leaf, if you like. Now we're not really getting rid of any of that green, we're just enhancing the tones, I think, of all the other colours there. Now that's a really nice leaf, and it will be perfect for the setting that I've got it going into. And you can see how the colours are starting to evolve now. Let's bring in a little bit more of the yellow for these other guys, or these other leaves I should say. Here we go. And just repeating the process. Get the yellow on, holding your thumb over the spot that you want as the highlighted area, so that it's slightly, yeah, there it is, it's slightly less. Let's do this one here as well. You can see that ring there. I'll do it here. These leaves are, and once again, you can, doesn't need to be held in your hand, you can bring it down onto your desk. Okay, yellow all around, good. Now let's move on to the brown, and where is that dauber? There it is. Okay, let's tackle the brown onto this one. I start on the edges, burnish those where you've already done the green, and bring the brown in, and there you go. And where you've been holding your thumb, just soften those edges like so. So you still retain that light area. There we go. I think that's just fine there with that one. I'm just going to bring some brown onto this one here. So here is our central piece for the light to catch it. And right, taking the colour to the edges, and it's going to be good. Okay, and as I said, I need some eucalyptus leaves in a project that I'm doing, and these I think will work just fine. Now this one is, the leaf is going to be in like this. So what I'm going to do is, and the leaf will probably be sitting on its side like that. So this area here will be slightly darker. And let me show you how I do that. Let's see, yellow, and here's the green. Okay. So because that will be like that, light coming in, I'm going to want this area in here to be slightly darker. And here's how I do that. See, you can start to see that happening there. And So I'm just doing to the right of the vein, and some yellow there to add to that, and then a bit of brown. Okay, there you go. That is what I wanted to share with you today. There is one more step in the process. I'm very happy with those leaves and those veins. They don't look, certainly don't look manufactured. They certainly look natural. Now, I wouldn't do this with every leaf that I do, but I'm going to do it with these ones. Which one do I? Because this one has a slight wetness to it anyway, I'm going to put those aside. Now, I mentioned the spritzer. Not every spritzer needs to have colour in it. I'm just going to quickly top this one up. I thought I had the water in there. And bear with me. And there we go. I just wanted to fill up the spritzer with some clear water. Know which angle the spritzer thing is at, and I'm just going to quickly do a test squirt. Okay, that's good. Right, now I'm going to spritz this leaf. That's probably enough. One short. Now I want you to just watch what's happening here with this, because of the nature of the colours that I've used from Stampin' Up. Look at this. I love this. It is just such a natural discoloration by bringing in that little bit of moisture there. And you can see it either looks like a plant that is still wet with morning dew, if you like, or a part of its formation. And here you go, here, see these ones, they've got that mottling on them as well, which is perfect for the project that I wanted to use them on later on as well. But look at the colouring here, it's fantastic. Okay, well, that's it for leaves today. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you learned something, and I hope to see you next time. Thank you very much. Take care.